really cool?
Do you think we? I mean, I hope it sounds like we did, but I don't know.
So it's really kind of cool is last time I wasn't able to see Casey whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
So the camera that is focused on Casey,
Oh, yeah, it's
I
up.
can actually see the little.
We can turn that off to save battery, too, if we need to. If that camera's battery. We haven't tested that camera yet.
Is that the one that we got?
Yeah,
from
that's
the bag?
one of yours.
But the the spare battery's charging.
Are we recording?
Yeah, you told me to turn it on while we were bantering.
Well, that's fair. I was just curious.
Yes, we are live.
So we're trying to be back. We lost a couple episodes because, we're stupid. But again, I'm Lane. That's Casey. We own this cigar shop in Tahoe.
Yeah.
That's not Casey.
That's Will.
Casey, you've changed.
What? Oh, the buttons are weird. Whatever.
Are they? Did we plug some stuff in
Yeah.
backwards?
Okay, you're number one.
Oh, that's not right. Adam did it. That's why.
I'm number two. And
I'm number 3.
Will is number 3. He's been demoted to a prime number.
All right.
Been demoted.
How you guys doing? You good?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Will, tell me about this cigar.
So this is the H. Upman Reserve 1844. It was bequeathed to me as a result of my work in it being in Lost and Found for 6 months. So we went ahead and put it in the humidor for about 2.5 months, and they're wonderful. They're a nice medium smoke.
I was to say, do we know anything about it, Casey?
It's an H. Upman Reserve Robusto. It is a Ecuadorian Habano wrapper,
Ooh.
Nicaraguan filler, and Dominican binder. No, Nicaraguan binder, Dominican filler.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're around. But it's got the Habano wrapper. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Because it's tasty.
Yes, it is. It's very tasty.
Let's get that up there. Ooh.
Whoa.
That's not good.
There goes the mic.
Oh, snap.
Need to turn that puppy.
Oh.
The man of many multitasks.
I rotated the base to make room on the table, and that was clearly a mistake.
Yes, the base gets a little finicky if it's not pointed at you.
Oh,
Fortunately, there's not much in it. I didn't spill a drop.
no. You didn't?
Not a drop.
Check the chair.
You want video evidence? Not a drop.
Wow.
Worked out just fine.
I'll slow-mo replay that when we go back to editing.
Yeah, I think I poured
Get
you
it
a little
all.
short on that
Get it
one,
all.
didn't I?
All right. I think that's going to work out.
Is there enough in there for you to?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
It's just a taste. We're not trying to get smashed.
Yeah, because there's having to get home later
Yeah.
in a place where DUIs are king.
Yes. And you get pulled over in random places for speeding.
Tell me about that, Casey.
No, I'm not.
Oh, is that something new and recent?
Yeah, it happened today. I got pulled over today
That sucks.
for speeding in what they call a transition zone.
It's in that freeway spot that's not the freeway, coming like right before you head up the mountain out of Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where it goes from 65 to 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got busted in the 50 doing 65 with everybody else.
Did he write you? Or did he give you a pass?
Oh, he wrote me. He wrote me.
That guy.
But he was friendly about it.
Well,
It's highway patrol, man. They can't give you no freaking leeway.
It's not Highway Patrol in Nevada.
Or
It
state-
is actually Highway Patrol. I take that back. It's
Yeah,
NHP.
it's NHP. Yeah.
They used to be state troopers.
No,
I think they have those too.
I don't. I
They
haven't,
still have cars that say
I
that.
haven't seen state troopers in a while.
Yeah. They started getting the new silver paint job, which I like.
No, I don't.
You don't?
Can't see it.
You can't see that thing.
Yeah. But it looks good.
It looks fantastic until it's behind you, and then you go, ah, fuck.
Listen, it's better than the blacked out Douglas County cars.
Oh yeah.
Where like if you get close enough, you can actually see
You
this
can
sort
read
of
the
like
words. Yeah.
matte. It's still black, and it's this.
Yeah.
It's like the same shade. It's not gray, but they've like matted it out where it says sheriff.
Yeah, it's like a hologram. Or-
Yeah, damn near.
Yeah.
Although, but I don't understand because then they've got the other one that's all white, and sheriff is literally a flag.
Well, yeah, one of them has to stand out.
Yeah. All right, Casey, have you Have you nosed any of these whiskeys yet?
No.
All right. So what we're tasting, in some order, no idea. Maker's Mark Cast Strength, Larceny Barrel Proof A123, and
Weller.
the Weller Special Reserve, the green label, which is their bottom.
And what kind of proof we got on those?
I think the Weller's around 80, 85,
80,
86,
80
90.
horsepower. Ooh.
The Larceny Barrel Proof, I don't know, 120 something. The Maker's Mark, I think, is like 114, 117-ish.
All right, we're looking for the
I didn't look that close. I was preoccupied with other things.
least spiciest one we're going to go for here.
So we were talking about people being shitty on the mountain, Will.
Yes, we were.
And you had a story about Squaw.
Boy.
Palisades. It was Squaw at the time, though, so it's contextually
Ooh,
relevant.
you said a bad word.
Yes, it was. It was.
Well, it's possible that the clientele has changed between the name transition, so maybe the name matters of what it was at the time. Probably not.
Whatever. I mean, I was skiing that mountain, and there's a chair called Siberia chair, and I had some 220 downhill boards from the Swiss team.
When was the last time you saw someone on the mountain with 220s?
Long. I haven't seen anybody on the mountain in the past 3 decades or more.
Yeah, you can't even get a burger for 220s now.
Yeah. Or actually, not 3 decades. Probably 2.5, 20, 25 years.
I did completely off topic. One of my favorite scenes ever was at Kirkwood. Early season, it's like the 3rd week in November. And you remember those lime green K2 Shredditors they had?
Yeah.
They were like 132 underfoot. And I mean,
That I don't remember. But
they
okay.
were seriously, they were water skis. And there's no powder anywhere to be seen. We've gotten like 3 storms. The mountain's barely open. It's all ice. And here comes this guy, not old, but like not young, just proudly marching through the parking lot with a pair of these Shredditors on his shoulders. And I'm standing with some guys that are legitimate competitive skiers. I haven't touched skis at this point since 10th grade. No, 5th grade. But I'm a snowboarder. And we're standing around, and I look over, and I go to these guys that I'm hanging out with. I go, is it just me, or does he have nowhere to ski those right now? And they go, what? And they all look over, and they go, oh, shit. He might die. Like, it was bad.
How long do you think they were?
Oh, they weren't that long. They were probably like high 160s, low 170s. He was pretty short, too. He was only about 5'8".
Oh, okay.
But he had water skis.
He had water. He was going to go ski water
132
skis.
wide. I mean, underfoot.
Yeah, that's gigantic.
With the shovel. Wonder what the shovel in the tail was.
I don't know. I can't imagine. I mean, they're entirely powder skis. I can't imagine they had much side cut to them.
Well, and the interesting part about the length of skis, I mean, when I was skiing the 220 downhill boards, they hadn't evolved into shape skis yet. And so,
yeah. Like talk about no side cut.
Right.
Those are race boards, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were downhill race boards. It wasn't so they were stiff. And anyway, I told my buddy, I go, hey man, I'm going to shoot Siberia. He goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm going to straight shoot it, right along parallel to the chair. He goes, you're nuts. He goes, how are you going to do that? And I go, I'm just going to do it.
It's happening.
And so what I noticed is that as I began, I was trying to absorb the bumps. Mm-hmm. And with the ski as stiff as it was, I didn't have to absorb the bumps. I just went from top to top to top.
Yeah.
And I'm straight lining it, and I'm going. And all of a sudden, I see this guy on the right side. And he's traversing, slowly traversing. And I go, he's got to turn. Come on, turn. And then I realize he's not going to turn. And he's in my line. He's going to be in my line very shortly. And I am yelling at him, hey, turn, hey, and sure enough, right in line. So I went hard on the skis side stop, and my skis stopped at his skis, and my shoulder went into his shoulder, and he went smack. He was. I was probably in my early 20s when I did this,
Yeah.
and his wife comes unglued at me, and she goes, "He's a doctor. You shouldn't be doing that." Blah blah blah. And I go, "How do I know he's a doctor?" I go, and he goes, "No, honey." He goes, "He's right. I never turned. I just traversed all the way straight across." And I go, "Thank you." I go, "Unfortunately, I was the uphill skier," and I explained to him, and he goes, "That's okay. I'm not worried about it. You didn't hurt me." And I go, "Cool." I go, because I was moving.
Yeah.
I was moving. But I mean, he was just oblivious. He didn't have his head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. You know, it's basically what it really comes down to.
Damn kids in their headphones.
No, didn't have any headphones.
He was rocking the boombox. Tell the
Damn.
rest of the story. You know.
So you know what's really interesting is that I had, what did they call it? A Pac-Man? No, not a Pac-Man.
Walkman?
A Walkman. Back then, that was the thing to have, was a Walkman.
Yeah, you got the Sony Walkman with the headphones and
I mean, I didn't have it when I was skiing, although I was supposed to, because it had a harness that would attach to the chest, so it would be right there on your chest, and you could.
I mean, listen, I
manipulate
prefer
it.
the guy wearing headphones. 'Cause I
Absolutely.
listen to music than the backpack speaker. Because that person should be beat by everyone they come across.
So, one of the things that I used to say, and I will say it again when I'm up there on the mountain, is those guys. I tell them, "Hey, man, stop the noise pollution. You're polluting the, you got a noise pollution here
the noise pollution.
and stuff." So,
Oh my god. So I was on the mountain. I was on the mountain on Friday,
okay,
and I was coming down, and it's a slow section. I was going too fast, and I was the uphill snowboarder. This guy was on skis, but he was on the complete other side of the run, and I was on the I was pretty far right. And I saw him start to traverse across, not really paying attention, but it didn't register to me that he would be traversing to the other side of the run because there's nothing there. There's about 20 yards of trees, and then you're in the lift plaza.
yeah,
And so he starts coming across. I keep an eye on him, and I'm watching and watching and watching. He's still coming, and I veer right, veer right, veer right. And I get as far right as I can without going into the trees, and he just keeps going. Turns out he was going for the trees, and at the point that it registers, I threw the brakes on literally as hard as I could. I mean, I was toe edge backwards. At one point, I could have just reached down and like touched the snow. I was so far down and had so much momentum.
wow,
As hard as I could. Pulled up short, maybe 12 inches. And at no point does this register. No, like he never panicked, he never moved, he never stopped what he was doing. Was just, this is my right of way. I'm like, that's great that it's your right of way, but I damn near broke both your legs.
yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate. There are a fair amount of people that just don't know skiing or snowboarding etiquette, and it's like I'm frustrated at that situation because how do you teach people snowboarding etiquette when they're not taking lessons?
No, well, in the last 3 years, I don't know that the number of visits has skyrocketed. It's gone up because I think both Epic and Icon, Altera and Vail have both seen record profits the last couple of years. But there's a lot of people that are new to it.
Right.
And, whether it's in a place where they shouldn't be or they didn't figure out what etiquette was or just didn't figure out that even if you have the right of way, if you've got a guy coming downhill at 30 or 40, 50, some of those guys up there clearing 60, it doesn't matter that you have the right of way. When they hit you, it's going to hurt a lot. I mean,
Something's going to break.
yeah.
That's for sure.
You're talking about the wife of the doctor getting unhinged. So,
And I get it. I mean, she,
well, totally.
yeah.
So I was up at Heavenly, and I was coming down Comet, and it was, I don't know.
Springtime?
No. It was mid-season. It was 16, 17 or 15, 16. think it was 16, 17.
Was it a big year?
Yeah, it was a big year.
16,
It was that
17.
year where you get that sort of cliff drop on the side of Comet.
Yes.
From the groomers coming through
Right.
and evening out the run. And it was like 6 or 7 feet this year. It was pretty substantial. There's no one in the run, so I'm just shooting down the one side. And I just catch out of my peripheral vision this kid. He's like 7 or 8. Thankfully, he's maybe like 60 pounds. Tiny guy. But he's out of control coming out of the trees. And he comes off the drop, lands the drop, but I have nowhere to go. Like, I couldn't put on the brakes. There was nothing I could do. It was that close. But he was small enough, so he hits right beside me, and I managed to turn heel side. So now I'm sliding down the mountain, looking straight down the mountain. And he hits here, and I grab him as he bounces the first time. And as he bounced, I grab him and just shift him to the other side of me and put him on the ground. I mean, on his skis.
Yeah.
And I sit down at that point. He sort of wobbles a little bit and then goes down. And his mom came out of the trees behind him. And I don't know what she actually saw other than the two of us just on the ground and thinking that, 240 pounds had just bowled over her kid. And
It's probably 75 soaking
You
wet.
just murdered that kid.
she comes off, works her way down the little cliff. Like, she didn't really drop it. She sort of like skied down this little thing and just starts screaming at me. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I mean, I already looked at the kid. I was like, you good? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you good? I'm like, I'm good. And then she's just, this. And I'm like, well, this is going to be awkward. And just as I'm about to figure out, like, I've sort of figured out what I'm going to say to her, and I start to open my mouth. Turns out the father was on run the whole time, and he was behind me, and he saw the whole thing. And he skis up, and he's like, no, you wouldn't believe what just happened. Like,
Mama Bear showed up.
I was like, oh my God, thank God, because I did not want to deal with that.
Yeah, you were promptly in between the cub and Mama Bear.
Oh yeah, and I'm sitting on the snowboard. But
Yeah.
everything about me looks offensive to her at that point. I'm like, oh, this is bad. I didn't even do anything.
Well, and the point is that, I mean, one of the things that I was that makes sense is that you've got people that are just flying down the hill, and a lot of them don't have control.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've got guys up there that've got control and they're flying, but we've got those intermediate skiers or beginner intermediate where they're just beginning to get into the intermediate realm without control. And, I've been there. I was that guy, at one time, but that was back in the 70s and 80s that I was that guy.
Yeah.
I have a solution
What's
For
the
your-
solution, Casey?
for your issue there. Okay. The Department of Mountain Ethics. Okay. The DME.
No, see, here's the problem.
No.
I'm getting shushed. I'm getting shushed.
No.
You're getting
The
shushed.
Department of Mountain Ethics issues you your mountain pass after you complete a written test.
Ooh, that would. Oh,
Now, for you old timers who have been doing it, I'm sure the written test would be very easy.
yeah.
For people who don't know diddly squat about diddly squat, that test may mean you have to take it a couple times, and for $50 a test.
Oh,
Oh yeah, this is a mountain resort property. You can afford it. If you can afford skis and everything else, you can pay $50 for this test to get on my mountain. But I guarantee you, it'd be the best mountain you'd ever skied on.
I mean, you remember, so you think that.
Oh, I
but
know.
There was so when I went to get my motorcycle license, years after it, like, I don't know, I was almost 30. I was 28 or 29. And I hadn't taken a written DMV test since I was 15 and a half.
right.
And they give you have to take half the test. Like, then they just pick the side. They're like, you have to take these 25 questions or whatever.
Half the test.
Yeah, you don't have to take the full test. It's half. I don't know. And I don't know how they pick which half.
That's Nevada.
It's the road sign test.
Is it?
Well,
No, because there was like, what do you do? Like, how should you pass in this situation? There were random like driver questions on this one too.
Oh, okay.
So there's a moment I look at it and I go, ooh, I don't know if I can pass this test. haven't looked at a DMV book in more than 10 years.
That's funny.
It would safen up the mountain.
I mean,
No, it would for sure.
to a certain degree, I agree with you, Casey. In order to get your pass, you have to pass this test. I mean,
I mean, if you want to buy a gun, you have to pass the test.
yeah,
If you want to carry and conceal, you have to pass the test. If you want your license, you have to pass the test. If you want to be a boater, you have to pass the test. Realistically, mountain skiing and snowboarding, one of the more dangerous sports, requires no test or certificate at all.
true.
And it's readily available in many places.
You say that, but some of the most terrifying things I've ever seen were in the CCW class from other people
Well, that's because you took yours in Nevada.
with a kook.
And that's a
An
scary place to go.
absolute kook, and he was the instructor.
Yeah, but it was cheap. So
It was cheap.
what do you expect?
I was scared for my life that day.
So, anyway, off topic, but yet appropriate for the podcast.
No.
The Daily Torch. Origin story.
Origin story for the whole shop now, right?
You want to go back
For this group.
for this group?
Well, not for like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much, yeah.
So,
The three of us.
How you ended up a founding member.
Yeah.
Casey and I ended up the owners of this strange little spot.
so the year is 2020.
Oh my God.
It is the year of pandemic,
It's the best year ever.
and the casinos get shut down, and as a result, we get shut down.
The world shut down. Well,
The world shut down. That's true. It wasn't just us, as much as I'd like to say it was.
We were more open than most.
True.
In fact, most of my friends hated me because I was still posting pictures of like backcountry snowboarding and mountain biking. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "There's no one here. I live in Tahoe. Although there's no one here. Like there's no one on the trails, but Tahoe was full. Busiest summer Tahoe's ever seen.
True.
I don't know, Casey. You've been here damn near as long as I have. In my 33 years in Tahoe,
I don't think I've ever seen it that busy.
almost 34 years, it's the busiest I've ever seen this lake.
It was stupid.
Yeah. Everyone's like, and everyone was pissed because they had to cancel their trip to,
Wherever they were.
Whistler or Vail or Jackson Hole. This was like second, third, fourth option, but it was the only place they could get to once the world closed down. So they're up here and they're angry because, this is a consolation prize. And there's fucking, I don't know, like a million of them, literally.
Yeah, it was yeah.
So origin story, totally
So-
cut you off.
Yeah, that's quite all right. So we were looking for a place that we could go and smoke. We started out on the deck. I started out on the deck of Casey's place, and then it started to get cold. And it's like, you know what? It's cold. What are we gonna do? And then I thought, hey, I've got this land yacht. And this land yacht was called a Ford Flex. I no longer have it. So I piled Lane in the passenger seat, front passenger seat, and I put Casey in the back. Did we have a fourth?
Every once in a while, Kevin joined us.
Yeah, every once in a while, Kevin joined us. And so what happened is we decided that we would smoke in my land yacht, very comfortable, I must attest. And we just proceeded to drive around Lake Tahoe and smoke.
It goes in. Oh, whatever.
And smoke
He-
our cigars. And each time we went around, we smoked, what, 2 cigars?
Turns out you can get 2 good cigars in the drive around Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, and I'm not pushing it. I'm relaxed.
No, it's a
easygoing.
comfy 72-mile drive.
Right?
Yeah.
Very simple, very easy.
But it was always at night.
It was always. There were a couple that were early evening.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Casey and Lane proceeded to form a plan on opening the cigar shop. And that is our origin story. isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we didn't think the cigar shop was going to come to pass. Once we realized that the previous owner was going to retire, it sort of started to take shape.
Yeah. But we knew that might.
There were a few months of limbo, for sure.
There were.
Especially those couple times where, like, once the casino opened, it was like, oh, we're back in the cigar shop. But where is everyone?
So by that point, though, we'd already taken possession of the shop. We were just waiting on licensing because the Nevada work from home thing was slowing us down.
True.
Right? But we closed down in March.
Yep.
And we took over the shop officially end of May.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Or
Yeah.
maybe we knew that we were going to take it over the end of May, but we didn't finalize a deal until June.
Yeah, it was still kind of like in the works.
Yeah, it was like Blythe was, or sorry, the previous owner was him and Han for a month until that phone call.
Where you took his soul.
Yes, where I stole his soul.
Yeah.
Listen, things needed to be done. It was time for action.
If Lane ever calls you on the phone, don't pick up. Don't answer.
Respond with a text.
Just, hey man, I'm driving. I can't talk right now. I'm at church. I can't call you. Wrong number. New phone. Who did?
Who did? 100% how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay, have you tried your whiskeys, Casey?
I have.
What do you think so far?
A is the easiest
Yes, I agree.
and
Also the least complex.
least complex. Although I enjoyed it actually. Like I could sip on a for a while.
I say this. I keep fucking leaving myself in the wind and getting it wrong. I am, as near as makes no difference, 100% of what each of these are.
Okay.
B and C though have some grit and some heat, which makes me think they're the higher proof guys.
I'll be surprised. I like B a lot. Clearly my favorite. Then A, then C.
See, I like A, and then B,
It's because you're a proof weed.
and then C.
Yeah.
Well, I like to be able to enjoy
Well, I can enjoy B.
because
I'm fairly certain that I drink B on a regular basis.
yeah. So it's the Weller.
No,
Oh,
I don't think so. I think A is the Weller.
Really?
I think you have picked the Weller
wow.
as your favorite.
Okay. Wow.
That
Would be a surprise.
I'm fairly certain. If I'm wrong, I will be surprised, but not that surprised, that B is the Larceny and C is the Maker's Mark. B just has a better savory note. C has a little too much, I don't know, it's not youth, but it's lacking like those darker notes that you get from the other grains. And I think they're all technically weeders. They're all weeded bourbon.
See, I think so. If A is A, you think is the Weller.
I think A is the Weller.
So B is the Larceny,
I think B's Larceny.
and then C is the Maker's Mark.
And the Larceny, I've always liked the Larceny. And I say this completely not knowing what it actually is, assuming that it is the Larceny. I liked it before, but I've never tasted it next to anything else. Tasting it next to anything else, I like it even more. Because the flavors just pop, like the richer flavors pop so much better. And C just feels like it's missing a little, it's still good, but it feels like it's missing a little something. There's a little bit of a sour note on it. Yeah, like right in the middle of the tongue as it crawls back, there's like this sort of, it's not bitter, it's like sour.
I don't remember.
It's like candy sour.
I don't remember the Maker's Mark having that though.
I could be wrong. But I don't know. Will has the answer key.
See, I think A is Weller.
I think A is Weller.
And then
But A is
I
significantly
think-
lower proof. Just on proof alone, I'd say that A is Weller.
I think B is
The makers?
the Makers,
Okay.
and I think C is the Larceny.
Let me know when you want the answers.
Let's have it, man.
Go ahead.
Ready
Go
to be
ahead.
embarrassed.
Okay. A, Weller.
Oh, look at that.
B, Larceny.
3 for 3 for the first time.
And C was the Maker's Mark.
Damn.
We meet again for the first time for the last time. Perfect. See, I mean, you made a good choice. Weller is very good. There's a reason
And
that
it's just, I do like the lower proof because it's easier to drink.
there's a lot of listen. There's plenty of people in the world that like lower proof bourbons.
Yeah.
I generally don't like lower proof bourbons because the finish they just feel a little watery to me after drinking so many higher proof bourbons.
No,
But plenty of them are still very good.
You need liquid fire to taste something.
No, that's the crap that you drink. That's barely whiskey. It's in the name.
Oh, don't disrespect the fireball.
Disparage the fire.
Oh my God! What else is going on in the world? We've covered whiskeys. We've covered. How do you guys like the Upmans? It's a really easy smoke.
Yeah, it's a real nice middle of the road.
I mean, as long as it burns well, because the first two we had were a little
True.
hard
It's-
to keep going.
It's wrapped. Mine's having a hard time staying going.
Okay.
It's also wrapped a lot like a Cuban, and that the draw's a little naturally tight. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten so used to the Nicaraguan rolls that are just looser, bigger draws.
Yeah, and a lot more spicier. This is
Oh yeah, this is a medium for sure.
I like it.
I appreciate the tightness on it though,
You do?
just a little bit because it kind of slows down the smoke.
That's fair. I just don't. I've never enjoyed that. I don't want to work for it.
Well, I mean, mine I haven't had to work too hard for.
I have to work a little bit on this
Do you?
one, and it could be that it's also a little wet.
It might be a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we need to move that box somewhere?
No.
No, it's just a product of them coming back to life.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just part of the rehab.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to do that. Honestly, if I just set this down for 10 minutes and started smoking it again, it'd probably be fine.
It'd be
Because of the lack of humidity here in the air.
Yeah, they dry out super quick. I mean, the shop's generally like 16 to 18% humidity.
True.
I could dry out a cigar in 5 minutes,
yeah.
which is my favorite when you go, hey, do you want a bag for those cigars? And they're like, no, it's fine. You're like, how long before you smoke it? Oh, 4 or 5 hours. You want a bag? Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to take them home with me.
Yeah.
You want a bag?
Definitely.
Bag it up.
It's not going to survive.
You've just spent $20, and it definitely just flew away.
Oh, the best part is it's not usually the guys that spend $20. It's usually the guys that spend $50 or $60.
Yeah, because they'll buy like 3 or 4.
I was
Yeah.
being kind.
Or a couple of $30 smokes. And they're like, that'll be fine. It doesn't matter. Well, it might matter. A little bit. It's a thing.
Well, I did want to ask about something.
Uh-oh, what do you got?
That Army or Air Force National Guard kid.
Oh, the dude that posted
That-
on... Listen,
First of all, it sounds like a movie.
it does sound like a movie. Except that he had no purpose. His purpose was to show off.
I get that, but
Listen-
but again, it sounds really far fetched to me.
No, I know.
And I was talking to my mom about this, and she's all about like, oh well, he's gonna get in trouble, and I was like, first of all, how did he get that? I'm like, it sounds more like a bad spy flick than anything. Like someone handed him that and was like, hey kid, go post this on the internet, and he was like,
Listen,
what? Why would I do that? And they're like, because somebody from the other side is going to get this and think that you have just given them a gold mine, and really, we just gave them coordinates to like abandoned Dunkin' Donuts, and that's
no,
like,
but the problem is it's not even that, right? It's all just like opinion pieces. It's like, we really think that this leader of this country is a shitbag, but he's our friend, so we can't say that out loud.
again, it's so far fetched.
It could legitimately just be a warning shot across the bow of like allies that are hedging
yeah,
on the ally front.
yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Oh, you didn't see the
Oh, you don't know about
the
this.
secret documents that were this dude, this kid.
Oh,
He's,
the kid.
he's 21,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
leaked. He
and
leaked
and,
documents.
and he's in the Air Force National Guard.
Yeah, but he was called up to active duty.
Okay, so
And he was the story goes that he was taking classified documents and posting them in this Discord chat group with his buddies, basically like a shit talking group, to show off. Like not even to make a point, not even because he had like some ideological problem with what we're doing in Ukraine or how we're treating Russia, none of that. Just like, hey, I have access to super classified documents. Let me prove it to you.
yeah, and wasn't 3 of them were like munition stockpiles,
Oh yeah.
like for South Korea and Ukraine and somewhere else, right?
It was like Ukraine stockpiles, which are supposed to run out in May. So say the documents, it's a specific date in May. They're like this day they're
Yeah.
out. And then South Korea publicly was hedging their bets on shipping munitions to Ukraine, but behind the scenes they'd already inked the deal and actually already sent some. So these documents outline that whole process. Like it's a mess. Oh wow! But listen. At this point with our government, anytime people want to leak documents to say whatever, I'm interested. But if you're going to make that sacrifice, like if you're going to risk going to jail for treason,
Yeah.
at least be trying to make
Well,
a point.
That was the thing, though, right? It's like I didn't see him get brought up on treason charges.
Oh, I don't think they've actually charged him yet.
But-
Well, and because he was active duty, he's subject to both the National Criminal Code and the UCMJ.
Yeah,
I mean, if they want to screw him over, they can screw him over.
isn't that like old school, like death by firing squad stuff? Like,
Yes. Death by firing squad, breaking rocks in Leavenworth, like the whole deal.
yeah, but it just seems so far fetched.
It
Like
is,
it feels set up,
it is a bit outlandish.
and I know there's going to be a movie in the next couple years about it, and it's going to be.
Well, yeah, but that's just a function of how little Hollywood has to make movies about right now.
That's true.
I wonder if it'll be a Michael Moore movie.
Oh no, it's going to be a Michael Bay film.
Oh yeah, lots of explosions.
For sure, explosions and
You're barely going to be able to see what's happening.
shaky camera,
Super quick cuts.
lots of lens flare. Just the most crazy, awesome Michael Bay film you've ever seen about treason. That's actually the name of the movie is going to be Treason. I'm telling you right now.
Isn't there already a movie?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I think there is.
Treason.
Copyrighted, patent pending.
Treason 2.
Treason 2.
Yeah.
Two treason.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Treason's Revenge. How about that?
Yeah, no, I listened to a podcast most days in the gym called Breaking Points, and it's basically a right left. Like it's four people, two of them are right, two of them are left, and they sort of change
Throw it around.
spots, and they talk about shit, and they're not really as deviant. Like the reason it works is because they share opinions on a lot of stuff. Like I would like a more varied opinion on the show, but it's very good otherwise. But they just won't let this go. It's just every day since it's happened.
That's
Like,
too bad.
well, because somehow they were released like 52 pages of the documents. There's like 300 pages. And they got like someone sent them 52 of them. And it's funny because the first couple episodes are like, we have this stuff and we don't know and we can't talk. And come to find out it was on Discord for like 2 months. And it's like Russia had it and like photoshopped it to already put it out as a lie. They're like, oh. So
Yeah.
literally like the whole world has these things. So we're going to talk about them. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I did not. I mean, I heard vaguely about that going on, but
Yeah.
I did not know to the detail that you guys had just described.
It was kooky.
It's the most ridiculously thing I've ever heard.
yeah.
And it just sounded like counter espionage to me. Like it sounded like something we would do.
Oh my god! Like it's sounding like something psyops would do.
Yeah, it really does. It's one of those things where it's like,
I wish I had Adam here to tell a psyops story right now. So they're psyops, right? So they're pretty proud. I'm gonna completely fucking bastardize this story, and if he sees this, he might yell at me for telling it. But it's hilarious because I won't use any names. Whatever it's worth. So he was Signals Intel, and psyops had a poker game every week. And somehow he got invited. Now,
He's a good
well, yeah, he's not a good poker player. He's a fantastic poker player. He's someone that grew up in a gambling town with professional poker players for most of his life. Can do the statistics on Hold'em in his head on the fly, just like any other professional poker player.
I hate those guys.
And he rolled into this game, and these super arrogant psyops guys are like, yeah, well, be careful. We don't want to take too. He took all their money every week, and they kept inviting him back because they couldn't get. Their ego kept stepping on it. Yeah,
That's awesome. And they kept bringing him back.
yeah. Every week took all their money. Something to be said about actual skill, I suppose.
I mean, that's impressive.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it was brutal for those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I've played. The other thing about poker is that it's a grind.
It's a long term.
Oh yeah. Especially if you got a full table.
Yeah.
I mean, the statistics are, I mean, if you're playing at a full table, you get like 1.5 winning hands per hour, are the statistics, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad. So most of the time, you're just folding hands.
Yeah.
You get a couple hands where you know it's not the winner, but you're going to play it out because you're in position. You're going to,
Right.
You're-
Or
you're
you
gonna-
or you have shitty cards, but you know you can play the guy.
yeah,
who's
you're going to
go in with
leverage
you.
position, or you're going to leverage your stack. Or like there's times when the cards matter less, but most of the time it's just a question of what your cards are and what you're able to risk. Like it's a negotiation, and just like any negotiation, it's about the application of leverage. Now, what that leverage is varies, but largely it's just your cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
You play much poker, Casey?
I mean, I can play, but I play Texas Hold'em the way that pisses people off.
Oh, you're a tournament poker player?
Like
Just all in as soon as you can?
no, I just I like to see the river. So even if I have shit cards,
You play.
I will play to the river, and then I'm like, I could make something out of that maybe.
Who was it, dude? It was the World Series. Was it Moneymaker? I think it was Moneymaker, who sucked out an obscene number of times with crap hands, making it on the fucking flop. It's like,
Oh, I've won many a hands with just a pair of twos.
well, I mean, this guy won the most prestigious poker tournament on the planet by playing shitty poker.
It's a legitimate strategy.
It is not a legitimate
It's
strategy.
legitimate strategy. If you can win the championship, it's a legitimate strategy.
In an actual cash game, you'd get smoked.
I don't know. I think I do all right.
Smoked.
I think I. My problem is you can't smoke at the tables.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You know why? Poker was actually the first to ban cigars at the tables.
really?
Yeah, because you sit close enough to the dealer, people were burning the dealer's hands.
Well, then that person can't smoke.
Yeah, he's not allowed to play.
The no smoker goes right there.
They lost their privileges.
Yeah, but everyone
Well,
else.
No, he can smoke,
but this
just
is all,
not there.
This is all part of the problem, right? Like, everyone needs to be treated the same. No, everyone needs to be treated fairly. This is what I used to tell bartenders. No, I used to tell bartenders when I met the first bar I ever managed in college, right? I told my bartenders the same thing. Everybody pays something. Not everybody pays the same. Yeah.
That's fair. But
I mean,
there,
it made
there
sense
are
at the
people who don't smoke when they play poker. Guess what? You get to sit next to the dealer.
Mm-hmm.
As we eliminate people, we'll stretch away from the dealer so you don't have to sit there.
Yeah.
Until then, that's where you sit.
Yeah, this is where
Order
you're
your
at.
fucking drink, play your fucking cards. I'm gonna sit over here.
Well, it's not like it matters. It's a rotating button. So everyone's
Right.
in position sometimes and everyone's out of position.
Yeah, it's fine.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah, I learned some years ago that from a supposedly a friendly poker game amongst the boys that I don't belong playing poker.
I don't think you have the patience for poker.
First of all, I know for a fact you don't have a poker face. So, right then and there, I know.
Yeah.
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 But I will take your money anytime you want to throw down. So,
But of course.
I mean, this is my bigger problem with whether it's poker or counting cards, unless you're doing like the team thing, like MIT did. If you're just like an individual counting cards, you're talking about it's basically a fixed wage outcome, right? Unless you're playing a big cash game because you got a massive bankroll and then you can leverage that. But for the most part, like if I were to walk over to Harvey's and play poker in the poker room at a standard table, you're looking at like you're probably good if you're making $50 an hour. You're going to sit at that table for 20 hours. Now, the end outcome is pretty good, but to think that it's not work is ludicrous. And counting cards is worse. Counting cards, if you're playing by yourself, I think the best you can do ever is like a 1.6% advantage over the house. Which means every $100 you risk, you're making $1.50.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, it's a grind.
It's not entertainment really anymore, is it?
No, it's a job.
Yeah.
It is 100% a job. Now, is the way MIT did it with like the disguises and the teams, and they could leverage their bets because they had multiple people coming in and taking advantage of the count. Like then it becomes this sort of like cloak and dagger strategy thing, which is probably more fun. But if you're just sitting by yourself at a table, counting out a deck, playing the advantage, you're going to be there a while. Would you agree, Casey?
I would agree. It's boring.
I actually got to teach one of my law school classes how to count cards. And then one of the students is like, "Why wouldn't I use this to pay off my student loans?" I'm like, "Because they'll catch you." Well, how? Transparent betting patterns. What do you mean? Well, this whole bet leveraging system that I just taught you, they do the counts better than you do because largely they have a machine that does it. They know exactly what the count is and what the advantage is. And if the only time you're betting 10 times your multiple is when the count's up, they're going to throw you the fuck out of the casino.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like it's a hard skill to master, and then by the time you've mastered it, you're already behind the guy watching you do it.
Oh, yeah, because they do
Because
it every day.
They do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
For them, it's like natural.
Yeah.
You're going to get busted.
And there's certain things you have to do anyway to really maximize counting cards. I think you have to play insurance. So if you're not playing insurance, they don't even look at you. But you're not making enough for it to matter. If you're on a 6-5 table instead of a 3-2 table, they don't give a shit because at that point your maximum advantage is like 0.6% if you leverage it down based on the payouts on blackjacks. So then you can't make any money. If you're on a table with a maximum bet of like $200, they don't care.
So there's a reason why I don't gamble anymore. It's just there's just too much thinking that goes into it.
I don't gamble because I realized very early on that for it to be interesting, there is a point where gambling becomes interesting for me. The problem is that point always happens after I'm playing more than I can afford to lose. And it doesn't matter what that number is or how much money I'm making at the time, it's always more than I can afford to lose. Like that point registers, and that's when it gets exciting, and that's also when I shouldn't be there. 100% need to be somewhere else right now.
So you're like $1,000 a hand on craps kind of guy.
That's literally, I walked away from blackjack with $1,200 on a single hand. And at the time, I was 22. Like, I was in college. That was tuition for an entire year where I went to college. And I looked down at it, and I had a decent sized stack. I started with $100, and I was staring at like $3,500 with $1,200 on a single hand. And it just registered, like in the middle of the hand, it registered what I was doing. And I went,
Oh,
what the?
fuck am I doing?
Like, I could pay for all of school this year with, what the hell am I doing? And then I realized that's when I put it together when blackjack gets exciting for me. But part of that is because before that I was a dealer. And I'd already seen hands, like, you get jaded as a dealer real fast. Like, you're on the $5 table and you just don't care. Like, you don't care. You realize the pit bosses don't care. Like, if you're on the $100 minimum bet table and you raise your hand for a problem, they're over there like that. They want to solve it right now. What's going on? If you're on the $5 table and you raise your hand, you're like, pit boss, and they look over and they go, whatever. Swear to God. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's a drastic difference between the $5 table and the $100 table.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
When you've seen $5,000 hands of blackjack, and then you go back and try and bet nickels, God help you.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a bad day.
One of the funnest stories I have was when I did gamble, was watching a baccarat table, and there were a bunch of guys from the Asian countries. I have no idea which one they were from, but I'm watching, and they go, "You like this game?" And I go, "Yeah, I think so." And they go, "Okay." He goes, "Go ahead and sit down," because they had reserved, the table had been reserved.
Yeah, which is not uncommon for baccarat, especially if it's big buck.
And so I sit down, and I'm playing, like $5, $10. These guys are throwing down 15,000, and I'm like going, "This is freaking nice." I'm getting the buzz essentially from it by watching them and playing alongside them, and they did well. I did not. So that was it's one of my fun stories of gambling. That keeps you gambling, keeps you tied in.
It's not like golf that way, right? Like, it's the one hand that brings you back.
Yeah. or one, yeah, the one, how many hours that you played, and you took home $3,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Casey? You weren't much of a gambler ever, right?
You know, I one time I had a really good experience.
Okay.
I was across the street, and I had $20, and I was like, you know what? Throw it in the slot machine, whatever. I don't, you know, I'll throw 20 in every now and then. Play the slot machine. If something happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, I lost $20. Throw $20 in, and I get a bonus. Probably like, I don't know, with $10 left. And the bonus came up, and it was free spins. And it gave me the option. It was like, you know, you can have 10 free spins with this many wilds and whatever. You can have 15 free spins with this. Or you can click the mystery button. Basically, the machine decides for you. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Mystery button. Let's just see what happens. Mystery button comes up. It's like 6 or 7 spins. But it's got a ton of bonus stuff added to it. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's see if I get shafted on this bonus or not. And it goes. By the end of the 6 spins, I had $1,200.
Nice.
And I had to get a hand pay to get
yeah, that's taxable.
It was hand pay. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So the person comes over, and because the machine stops when you get a hand pay, like you can't do anything. And it's like, oh, okay. They took my ID, and they're like, hey, you want to pay? I was like, yeah, take the taxes out now, because I don't want to forget about them come tax day. You know, well, by the way, you have some wins and losses to report. So I'm like, just take the tax out. So I think I left the machine when they gave me the payout. I had about 11 in payout, plus I had 300 still in the machine. So, you know, I gave the one person who was vacuuming $50 because she was like right next to me. You just do that, right?
Yeah.
And then I knew the bartender, so I went over and gave him $50. I was like, all right, cool. And then I was hungry, so then I go over to Harrah's, to the Highland Bar when they had that $5 breakfast, and I threw $100 in the machine to play Keno while I was waiting for my breakfast. I hit $800 on Keno, and I went, holy crap! I cannot be stopped right now. So I cashed out. I gave the bartender up there $100 after my food. And then I left because I know I was going to put it all back if I didn't.
I need to interject real fast. Every casino employee in the world believes that the appropriate jackpot tip is 10%. So if you won $5,000 and you didn't tip out $500 to various employees, 100% every employee that knows about that thinks you're a shitbag.
Really?
Facts.
100%.
Facts.
Wow.
Just in case you're wondering what the appropriate tip on a jackpot is, it's 10%. As far as the people in that casino are concerned.
Interesting.
Yeah, you find a waitress, you find a security guard, you divvy that money out.
Yeah. What's interesting is I used to play a lot of craps.
Yeah, I remember you telling these stories.
Yeah, and I was constantly, if I wasn't bringing them side bets on my own bets, I was placing bets for them that I wasn't even placing. You know, and that's how I used to tip out, was tip as I go.
Well, dealers are different
Oh,
at tables. If you're tipping as you go, they're pretty good,
Yeah.
right? Because there's not a lot of jackpots on tables.
okay.
You win some big hands, but as long as you're consistently tipping, dealers aren't going to fault you. What I'm talking about are the waitresses, the bartenders, the slot techs.
Okay.
Slot techs are slowly dying off as a profession, but they expect to be tipped, 100%. Like,
It's like a karma thing.
yeah, if you hit a big jackpot and don't share, you can sleep confidently knowing that when that casino employee went back to the other casino employees, you were mentioned, and you were mentioned in a very poor light.
Yeah, you're now infamous.
Yeah. And the bigger the jackpot and the smaller the tip, the more infamous you become.
Oh, there's the lady who won that $10 million here.
Yeah.
And the employees that are still here from that time
Still talk about.
still shit on her.
Yeah, they would
Because she tipped $10.
know her if she came in.
Oh yeah, off of she won $10 million on Wheel of Fortune, and she tipped a whopping $10
You're kidding.
to one cocktail waitress.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's, that hurts. I
That-
mean, I
that-
don't even gamble anymore, and
Yeah, that's
Man,
why she
that
still gets
hurts.
shits on 10 years later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. If she walked in here, we'd all know who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you will not be forgotten if you make that particular mistake. Now, if you want to make that mistake, fine, but that's the consequences.
yeah. Then you'd be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you would be. I'm fairly certain having been around this town as long as I have. I know a fair percentage of the employees that have worked in these casinos. I don't think he's ever tipped.
yeah,
Not ever.
that's the rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barkley, I understand, just lit into him one time.
Yeah. Apparently,
Yeah.
that's why they're not friends anymore.
Called him a cheap son of a bitch in front of a lot of people. It was terrible.
But Barkley's one of the nicest people ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's got great personality.
And I don't say that because he's just entertaining. Like he walks around these casinos and talks to people and makes jokes and
Right.
like,
Yeah, buys out Corona for everyone and passes out bottles of Patron and
yeah.
tips everybody he bumps into. And, like the guy's a kook,
Oh yeah,
100%. But he's the nicest guy.
Anyway, what else is going on in the world? Casey, you watching the time on this thing?
I am, and I need a cigar. So let's take an intermission.
okay.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay. I was just about to get into my second cigar and what I'm smoking.
Oh, see, I need one. So hang on.
Yeah,
Intermission time. And we're back.
We're back.
and we're back.
All right.
Yes.
Will, why don't you start us off with
The
what you
cigar?
smoking?
Yeah. So I picked up a Oliva Nicaraguan series Robusto, which is a Puro, all Nicaraguan, binder wrapper filler. And that's where I'm at.
Casey, what'd you grab?
I have a Undercrown Maduro. Yes. One of my go-tos. For sure. Excellent. What'd you get?
Alec Bradley Punk.
Oh.
Probably my favorite little cigar on the humidor.
Yeah. I
I'm
like
still
those
watching.
too.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I like Alec Bradley, but they're not like something I would grab. But this one over most of the little like petite Corona-ish
Right.
cigars we have, I'll grab that almost every time.
We'll see how the quality stays until they got bought.
Yeah, I wonder when that takes effect. Do you ever figure who they got bought by? Swiss something. Tobacco Swiss, Swiss Tobacco. I don't know.
I have to find out. But I don't think it takes effect until summertime.
I'm sure it's a massive. I mean, a deal that big was like $75 million or something. They're gonna have to. It's gonna take time
It's
to
gonna
close.
take time for sure.
Yeah.
It's huge. Huge.
We got some new stuff coming in, right?
Yeah, the Mestre de Saka line. All the coffins.
Perfect.
I can't hear.
You can't hear anything?
I don't have anything going on in my. That's okay.
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a second.
No, we're fine.
No, just keep talking. I'm gonna plug you back in.
Okay. So, the word is it a rumor or is it a fact that DeSantis has entered the race for president of 2024?
I believe he officially announced.
I was kind of hoping that he was going to wait until after the midterms in Florida. So, yeah. Oh, pushed in. Is it in? Okay. You lowered my gain. that? I think no.
That
Got it.
shouldn't have affected it.
What's going on? Are we there yet? There we are.
Were you screwing with the knobs, Will?
No, I didn't touch
Oh,
them.
you know, I think you did. I think you did when you moved.
All right. Hey, can you look that up? Is it fact? Did he enter the race? I think he did.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's starting to make actual comments. Not that they're any good, but he's making them.
Is he making noise?
Yeah, he's trying to sling mud with Trump a little bit, which, good luck, but right on.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's put out some, slightly less tepid comments about Trump.
Like when he was saying he's not this and he's not that.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I will say today's comments were some of the best.
But then, so did you see the response that, like, the full ad response that got put out?
No.
So DeSantis makes some policy comments, like some actual, like legitimate comments, but they're really tepid. And then apparently there was a plane flight where he had some pudding and no spoon, so he used his fingers. And Trump puts out an entire ad
No.
based on DeSantis using his fingers to eat pudding. There's just no level of petty that Trump doesn't know.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
Today, DeSantis threatened to build that state prison.
Right next to Disneyland? Yeah. That's a winner for sure.
You know what? I bet you they could sell tickets. Prison World would be a fantastic attraction
prison world.
for Disneyland.
Can we bring back the e-ticket? It's a separate purchase.
Is it? The e-tickets are separate?
Well, not anymore, but originally rides were rated and you bought tickets based on the rating of the ride.
Right,
And the e-ticket was like the biggest rides at Disneyland.
right.
That's what's
It was
that was the
yeah,
saying.
it
It's an
was-
e-ticket ride at Disneyland. So originally that's how they sold the park. And they stopped doing that. God, that had to be in the 60s.
No, no, because I went to Disneyland in the early 70s, and it was, you could purchase A, B, C, D, or E.
Oh, see, I thought that was gone by the time my dad was there.
When was your dad there?
Ooh, I think he started in 72.
Oh, okay.
Best guess.
And that's where he met your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what year did they get married?
77.
Okay.
He's not officially announced.
Okay.
No, I think today mostly was just him about putting that prison right next to Disney World because he can. Because they're having a fallout, Disney and
Oh yeah, he
Oh,
pulled
no,
he pulled
he's-
away their special tax district. He's
Yep.
screwing with Disneyland a bunch.
Yeah, he really is.
but they're gonna sell to Apple anyway. So
I mean, Disney right now is an easy target.
it really is. It really is.
Speaking of the issues that Disney has, I was thinking about inclusivity, right?
Oh God. All right, what do you got?
So, to me, it seems like inclusivity means that there was something exclusive about whatever it is that they want to make inclusive. In other words, I was thinking of it in regards to skiing. You know, it's one of the I don't know talking points, I guess, for Vail Corp is they want to be more inclusive, and it's like, well, yes, skiing has been primarily a sport of the wealthy more than anything else. So, as a result of economics, you've got some exclusivity, but inclusivity, to me, is establishing the fact that whatever it is, like, let's take the bathrooms, right? That's a legitimate, to me, that's a legitimate thing that should be created for those who need to have a separate place to do their deals.
Look, for the bathrooms, because that's a hard question and one that I don't have an answer for. I just like when they create independent bathrooms. Like each bathroom is a single-use instance, right? So like
You mean either a guy or a girl can use it,
doesn't
or even them?
doesn't matter
Yeah.
because only one person can go in the bathroom at a time.
Right.
Like a Starbucks bathroom.
Right.
It's made for a single person. And I know that doesn't work for ballparks or stadiums or casinos or whatever, but it's a way better use. But as far as like skiing has a whole other problem that like a whole other dimension is added to exclusion. Like, yes, it's a wealthy sport. Yes, it's been predominantly a particular class. But even when those people are invited, and now everyone else that's invited, there are mountains of pages dedicated to Jerry's, right? Like there is a skill level that you have to reach in skiing before you can be included in the group.
So
Like if you're terrible, you're going to get ruthlessly made fun of. Sometimes in front of you and sometimes not. But in today's age with phones and videos, you might end up a viral video on the internet and never know it because you just did something dumb.
Yeah. What's a Jerry?
so yeah.
Someone who doesn't. I wish we could share a screen. Like you just need like the best one. Do you have Instagram on your phone?
Yes.
Okay, look up Jerry's of Bear Mountain. Because it's just people doing stuff in the snow that doesn't make any sense to people that are used to being in the snow. But the problem is that how would they know? Now, I get it. Look, I've been in the traffic jams caused by whatever in the snow. And it's frustrating, but at the same time, we could do a lot better job of telling people, like sharing with people what the skills and the etiquettes are that you're going to need.
Yeah. I mean, and that's how we were talking about it earlier.
Oh,
But
it's those people.
the thing about inclusivity also is like, well, wait a minute. They've already had the rights to do whatever it is they want to do. I mean, to me, it likens back to the 80s when there's the gay movement is the best way I could say it, where, they're entitled. They can have a parade. And it's like, so can, us, whatever us you want to classify.
Well, technically, almost any group can have a parade at this point.
Exactly.
Like, First Amendment rights aside. But so here's it like
I mean,
well,
I just
again,
liken it to back then.
a much bigger topic than I am prepared to discuss at the moment. But I feel like there are a couple different types of exclusivity or exclusion, right? Like there's exclusion as a matter of principle. Like you aren't invited, where you just flat out look at a group of people or a type of person or whatever and say, this isn't your party, which is an explicit exclusion.
Right.
But then there's also exclusivity based on achievement, right? Where you have to pull it back 2 or 3 different different steps where they're creating an exclusive atmosphere. They're excluding people, but it's based on some achievement or something like wealth or so you're not saying, oh, well, you don't get to come because, you're African American or you're Hispanic or whatever. They're saying, but the people that do get to come are the people like we only invite billionaires. So that class gets really small and really specific, right? So, and I think what we're crossing now is the threshold between, 30 or 40 years ago where the exclusions were explicit.
Racial.
And we're getting to a place where the exclusions are sort of on the same terms, but they're kind of implied. You just look at certain achievements like, oh, the people that I want to hang out with have achieved this, so we're going to make it exclusive to this thing. And I don't know what the answer is. Again, like this is a really big question in a country that's had racial problems since its inception. But I think that we're ignoring that there are multiple levels. Like there are multiple dynamics to this process, and you have to attack them differently, right?
I mean, it just occurred to me, not while we're sitting here, but
For the record, we're having a very serious conversation, and Casey is scrolling through Jerry's of Bear Mountain, laughing his ass off.
oh, is he?
Yeah.
This might be the greatest Instagram page I've ever seen in my life.
It doesn't help that Bear Mountain probably has a higher percentage of Jerry's than any other ski mountain in the country, because it serves mostly Los Angeles.
No, it's honestly it's like our town, but cranked up to 100,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
Sorry, I totally cut you off. Will, what were you saying?
So the point that I was trying to get at is that I know that they're pulling the LGBTQ is basically highlighting their specialness, and it's really, to me, it doesn't seem like they're, I mean, they're different, but so are so many other people.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think every group right now is highlighting their pluses. Like, we're stuck in a place, and I've come across this in work environments and casinos and social groups and politically, where, and I don't know, maybe it's accurate, maybe it's not, but we seem to be stuck in this place where to make yourself look good, you have to make someone else look worse. Like, we don't have achievement independent of someone else's failure right now, which, I don't know, maybe we never did. But it felt like when I was a kid and you talked about achievement, it wasn't at someone else's expense.
Yeah, but I don't think this inclusivity issue is based on achievement. I think it's just like,
Well, not necessarily achievement, but wealth, or I do this, or we do this better, which means someone else does it worse. Like, there's a lot of it's largely a compare and contrast argument at this point, rather than just a celebration of success.
I guess, I don't know.
I mean, when you
obviously,
start
I
looking
don't
at
have-
how people talk about it, listen to it. Listen for the we did, but they did. And one is always positive and one is always negative. And that's not to say, listen, everybody makes massive mistakes through their life. I don't know anyone that hasn't. Right now, we just seem to be, whether it's a political party or a gender identity or an ethnic identity, we seem to be, every time someone talks about something that they did great, seems to be at the expense of somebody else, or someone else needs to lose, or someone else needs to cost for this thing to happen. And, you know, largely that's going to be the case. But I feel like there's a place where growth is the predominant factor across the board, rather than stepping on someone to stand taller. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I just liking it back to the 80s. And, I mean, it just seems like they're fighting for rights that they really already have.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, if they're fighting for it, they don't think they have it.
True.
Largely.
Okay.
And listen, some of them might be doing it maliciously because they want more, they're greedy, or whatever. Who knows? There's always a segment of every population that is maliciously acting, right? But if you have a movement that's expanded on this level, there is a significant number of them that just don't think they have access to whatever it is they're fighting for.
Or that they're recognized.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a fair, like,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you're making that argument honestly, you have an argument to make, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can always make an argument for or against.
Well, but I'm not talking about just making an argument for argument's sake. Like, if like, take class, right?
Okay.
We have a massive wage gap in this country.
True.
It's an honest argument. Now, that there are people making this argument dishonestly on behalf of the people in the lower class who aren't in the lower class, who are doing it to leverage their own power, wealth, whatever. Those people are shitbags. But it doesn't mean that their argument's wrong. They're making it for a bad purpose. Doesn't mean that the wage gap needs to be narrowed and the standard of living for the lower class needs to be elevated in this country. It 100% does, right? So this is something that I've told, I don't know, everyone that's ever worked for me and most bosses I've ever worked for. Because it inevitably, sometimes it comes up where someone goes, some guy or some girl puts forth an idea, but they are not well liked, right?
Sure.
Maybe it's because they don't have the personality that fits the situation. Maybe they're legitimately jerks. Whatever it is.
Whatever the
They
circumstances.
don't fit. But they say something and they say this. And someone brings this idea to me and they go, well, what do I care? That person's a schmuck. True. But sometimes assholes have good ideas too. Like
Yeah.
you have to separate the
Is
idea
the
from
idea
the person.
genuine?
Yeah.
And not
Well,
full of hatred.
even if it's not genuine by the person that's making it, it might be genuine for somebody else. It doesn't mean that it's not worth considering,
Right.
but you have to sometimes separate out the intent or the purpose of the person making it from the argument itself. And this is something that most people I found have a really hard time doing. I have a really hard time doing it with sometimes because there are some people that I just don't care for, and they say something, and you know, dismiss them, do whatever, you know, kick them out of your building, whatever the case may be. And then you walk away. And if you're introspective in the slightest, you look back and you go, shit, that might have been right. Yes.
That part.
Yeah. Like you take 20 steps, they're gone, and you stop mid-step and you go, son of a bitch.
Enlightenment.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Casey? Do you disagree?
No, I mean, it happens, right? It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, someone says, well, that person's an idiot. And you go, yeah, but that idea actually does work.
Right? And with like the bathroom thing, like it's not just awkward. It's awkward all the way around.
Right.
Doesn't mean like sometimes solutions come at the end of a hard path. Like this is a hard question, and it's not as simple as these people need to have access, or on the other side of the argument, these people absolutely can't have access. Like there is some path to some answer that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of uncomfortable introspection
Right.
to find what makes sense. But
Yeah.
the work is what people aren't willing to do. And this is a whole other problem, like a problem that we've had with sports and with businesses, and that the achievement is the thing, right? Everyone, like, however you get there, the ends justify the means, whatever it was. It's the quick path to whatever. And sometimes the path sucks and you got to walk it anyway.
True.
I mean, it's just the facts.
Yeah. The evolution has some sharp edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, growth is often painful.
Quiet.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it's not about winning and losing.
Do I have
So-
to shush you?
Sorry.
You
No,
brought,
that's
you
fine.
brought it up. You shush.
No. Oh, so moving away from my
Serious and debilitating conversations?
Yes.
Yes, what do we have?
my mind does not work like many others. You know, it's a little slower than most. But I'm thorough. No. Aaron Rodgers is gonna stay with the Green Bay Packers.
Oh my God.
He's
That's going to be uncomfortable
When
for
did that
everyone.
happen?
that came out today.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sports Center at all today.
Yeah. I mean,
After all that
that's-
bullshit he talked about?
That's the article that I got. Yeah, it's like
That's
it's
gonna
like
be so good to watch.
150 million for the next 3 years,
Oh my
which
God.
basically in year 2 makes him the most paid athlete.
I can't help but feel like they're just paying to watch his decline.
Or if he sits on the bench, right?
I have no words.
Are they going to trade the guy that they drafted?
I have no
I
idea.
forget what his name is. Jordan something Jordan.
Oh, last year?
2 years ago, I thought.
Maybe that's his mentoring fee.
Oh, he won't mentor. He's a complete jackass.
No, he's a mentor.
I mean, listen, I'm sure if the dude wants to, get some ayahuasca, Rogers will maybe point him in the right direction or give him a phone number.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he sabotaged it.
But yeah, I saw that article and I go, "Oh my gosh, he's going to stay with the Green Bay Packers." I go, that's,
It's disappointing. I wanted to see him with somebody else. I really wanted to see him just get sacked a bunch with the Raiders.
That was the answer. For sure.
Yeah, I think Garoppolo is going to have a bit of a challenge there.
The Raiders?
Yeah,
Literally anyone who went there was going to have a challenge.
exactly.
They should pick up Lamar Jackson because he can escape.
Yes, he has legs.
Yeah. That's their best bet.
Yeah, but
Because they're not running a solid offense at this point.
they didn't.
No, they didn't. Did Jackson get traded somewhere?
No.
He's still with the Ravens.
Well, I mean,
He's shopping the market, right?
yeah, he's still searching for that number that he has in his head that he's worth.
No, if it's I don't know what that contract looks like. My guess is it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 million, fully guaranteed, is what he's angling for without a agent.
For how long?
Without an agent,
How long would that contract be? 8 years? 10 years?
probably between 6 and 8. Be my guess. He's looking for between 45 and 50 million a year. I'm guessing.
Okay. Which would put him just under.
Well, because he's going to get paid what 37.5 this year, fully guaranteed.
Lamar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they offered him 37.
Well, he's franchise tagged. He's got the non-exclusive tag, so it's a fixed amount.
Non-exclusive tag. Yeah. So
They just average like the highest paid 3 players at the position or something, and you get the middle number for when you're franchise tag. I think I don't know what the exact calculation is, but it's something like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it's fully guaranteed for that year, but it's only for a year.
Okay. So he has an expanded contract of 1 year.
Yeah, it's
If he
basically
stays.
yeah.
if he signs it.
No, he doesn't have to sign it.
Oh, he doesn't?
No,
already
it's,
in
it's
place.
a
Oh, okay.
it's a team option basically. They can lock you in after your contract ends. They can franchise tag you, I believe, 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? That many?
Yes, but the problem is financially it's prohibitive to the teams because it's really high.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm fairly certain it's the highest paid 3 players at the position averaged out, and that's what you get fully. And they're not talking about fully guaranteed money when they average it out. It's just whatever they can make that year, the highest paid. Like I don't know how they average out the bonuses and the incentives, but whatever that number comes out to, it becomes a fully guaranteed number. So he could play 1 game, get injured, and he's still getting $37.5 million.
Oh, wow. And since he has legs, that's not. It's not
Unheard of.
Unheard of. Yeah.
No, well, that's why no one wants to give him a fully guaranteed contract.
Got it.
'Cause he
yeah,
runs-
he runs too much.
He runs a lot more than like Mahomes does.
Right. Well, everybody actually. That was the comment.
Yeah.
Or that's. It can be a blessing or a curse. You know. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, he's super talented, but he's also putting himself out there on the line
Right.
with some really big dudes who wouldn't mind hurting him.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't see that it says he's staying with Green Bay.
No.
No. The news I have today is that the Titans have shown interest in picking up Aaron Rodgers.
Huh.
are the Jets out of it all of a sudden?
No, I just think everyone hasn't heard anything because they stalled. Because I think they're waiting for draft day.
Oh, are they?
I think so. I think they're going to try to leverage him for some draft picks.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
That would be
Yeah.
smart.
So
I just don't know where he's at. This last year wasn't good.
No, it wasn't.
and he's probably not practicing right now.
Yeah, no, it's he takes an actual offseason, I think.
Yeah,
But to answer your question, I think Jimmy G is not going to be a successful marriage with the Raiders.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to watch for sure.
Yes, in that watching accidents and train wrecks is interesting.
Yes, and they are. We've had our fair share.
I mean, I don't know what your team's going to do.
Hey.
Your team's all right because everything else is so strong, but
This is an important year for the Raiders.
how so?
They have to go to the Super Bowl.
They won't.
They have to,
They won't. And if they did, it would be the end of the world.
but they have to
And they have to.
Would you-
because, and they have to because.
because it's
How
your Super
much?
Bowl.
How much would I have to pay you to be in Vegas for the Super Bowl if the Raiders were playing?
Not much.
I'll tell you what. You rent out one of those booths in the end zone. Whatever that costs, whatever that booth costs,
I don't know, $3-4 million probably.
that's the number. I would sit in that party booth with the buffet and the free drinks the whole time.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. It would be such a fiasco. It's going to be a fiasco anyway. It's going to be the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
But I also want to sit next to what's his name? Tom Ellis needs to sit with me.
Who's Tom Ellis?
He's the guy who played Lucifer. I want to look like I'm partying with the devil. If we're going that way, I want to look like I'm partying with the devil. So it'd be me and Tom Ellis in the booth in the end zone with a bunch of beautiful women surrounded by us. Whatever that costs, you make that happen, I'll go.
And you'd be okay?
You make that happen, I'll go.
I would be
Gladly.
I would be so terrified of that town on that day. That whole weekend would be a mess. I mean, listen, it's going to be a mess anyway.
Sure.
F1 and the Super Bowl.
And the Pro Bowl.
That doesn't matter so much.
No.
But it's still there.
But no one cares about that.
I know, but still.
They're going to be on the strip.
That's barely a warm-up.
True. It's flag football now anyway.
I mean, it was the worst all-star game of all the sports. We have discussed this at length.
I know.
It was terrible. I mean, baseball, they're still basically playing baseball.
Yep.
Yep.
Basketball, it still mostly looks like basketball.
So it's like a warm-up game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to look close to realize you're not playing defense.
Yeah.
And they're going to score 240 points. But football was like, I mean, they would like run up and like touch people on the shoulder, and the person would like fall down. They're like, cool, you're tackled.
Got him.
Well, I mean, I can't blame them. I'm not saying they should have done anything different. Why would you play hard at the Pro Bowl in a game that is notorious for ending people's careers? Like, just in a singular instance can end your career.
True.
So to fix the Pro Bowl then, how about laser tag?
What's wrong with flag football?
Because laser tag would be cooler.
Paintball.
Didn't they try that? Didn't they
Oh.
try to
Paint. Okay, I'm for this. Paintball would be cool.
didn't they try to televise laser tag? I know they tried to televise the other one that you were just talking about.
Paintball is
Paintball.
on TV for sure.
What else you guys got? No dead air.
Well, it's the finale of two good shows.
Picard.
Of one good show and one. Are we sure they're both good shows?
Well, Picard is.
After last week's episode,
The preachiness.
well, you have to look past the preachiness.
The whole show was monologue.
It was, but
There
that's,
was not a single conversation that happened between two people.
that's because you don't have to have conversations. They all wear helmets. They can't hear each other anyway. It doesn't matter.
It was. I mean, it was almost as bad as if the whole episode had been voiceover. There was just like no writing at all.
Oh, you guys are talking about Mandalorian.
Yes,
Which I still haven't.
we are. Sans
They
the
literally
preachiness.
look. What they should have done for that entire episode is like full on blazing saddles, breaking the fourth wall. Like every time it was someone's turn to speak, crew members should have run out and set up a podium and a microphone, and they stood up on a little pedestal and started talking.
Sans.
Followed by action scene.
Well, yeah, the action scene was good.
Granted, it was.
Okay, action scene was cool.
It just
They didn't have to kill the fat guy, but it was cool.
isn't that Jon Favreau?
I don't know if Paz Vizsla is Jon Favreau because the voice is different now.
Oh, is it?
But I think he was the other fat. He was the other fat guy for sure. But I don't think he was Paz Vizsla.
Okay.
But what happens now?
I don't know.
Like, do they rescue Din Djarin? Do we get the Mandalorian back?
No, they kill him off.
No, you can't kill it. Din Djarin's the only reason to watch that show. Because if it was just Katie Stackhoff, you wouldn't watch it.
No, that's true. Because I've already seen her sci-fi show.
Yeah, exactly. Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's not wrong.
But Din Djarin makes the show. You need him. But I just don't know how they, first of all, it's not going to be long.
No, it's going to be like 18
Yeah,
minutes.
it's going to be short, probably, like 30 minutes.
Are we going to see a cameo? Are they going to do like a super special high-speed cameo at some point?
Like a Thrawn cameo.
Yeah. Like, are we going to see something? Are they going to bait the hook and then end like,
There was a leaked image today
oh really?
of supposedly what Thrawn looks like,
Oh yeah?
and basically he looks like Elon Musk.
Seriously? Is it bad?
I don't know. I think the photo was actually a photo of Elon Musk that someone just like painted blue. Because I'm like, Disney's pretty good about special effects
False.
sometimes.
The Grand Inquisitor was garbage. 100% garbage.
We don't talk about that show. It's a different show.
But
You're not gonna find a menacing dude who looks like the Grand Inquisitor.
what? I mean, they have some of the best CGI in the world.
Yeah, too expensive.
It was terrible. God damn it. All right.
So
but
explain
there's-
what just happened.
So there's that one.
The Batwing.
No, his cracked. Cracking happens. Too much air gets in there. You crack. You can't burn it. It hurts.
But that doesn't happen regularly.
No, it doesn't. So you still haven't caught up though?
No, in fact, I went to go and start it, and I remembered that you guys said I should watch Andor before I watch Mandalorian.
I think we were both joking
Oh, good.
when we told you to watch Andor first.
Okay.
I don't think you could make it through Andor.
No,
It's
pretty slow.
I mean, slow is a generous term. If we're being fair,
Whoa.
Listen, if you're gonna watch Andor,
Yeah.
can anyone actually hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
If you're gonna watch Andor, how many episodes were there in the season?
There are 12.
Ooh.
Start at episode 9.
Okay, it's like molasses.
Maybe episode 8. What do you think, Casey?
Yeah, I would say the last 3 are very Star Warsy. So to appreciate what you missed out on before, you watch the 8th episode, and then 9, 10,
Okay.
11, 12. Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. There is.
That's all you need.
It was.
Lane,
it
you're
was
looking at me
harsh.
like-
What episode was the prison break?
I think that's episode 8.
Okay. Yeah, you can start right there.
Yeah,
Everything that comes before it,
just
useless.
totally.
Doesn't even begin to.
Honestly, I don't know what they were doing.
There's no story that.
Neither did they.
There's no storyline.
Oh, there's a whole story that has nothing to do with anything,
Oh wow.
and nothing. It has that dude from the Bear.
It's seriously
that's all I
like
remember.
8 episodes of mediocre character development, followed by 1 episode is all you need to develop the character of Andor. And then you can go straight into, Star Wars.
What he's doing. Okay.
But no, that's not what you get. It's just massively uneventful.
I think I'll just pass on it.
No, it's worth watching.
Yeah, it's the last
For 4
the last
episodes.
4 episodes, fantastic Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, that ship the dude has, cool.
Everything before that, you don't need to know any of it.
None of it.
Every character can be introduced blind from the prison break episode on, and you're good.
And you'll actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That works for me.
yeah. No, it's quick.
I'm glad you guys watched it for me.
We watch things so you don't have to. That's what we do. But you should catch up on the Mandalorian because that's fantastic.
Okay.
False.
Yeah.
False.
It's not fantastic.
It's better than average.
It's better than Andor.
And right now the average bar is set particularly low in the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
It just is.
No, I'm a Trekkie.
Do you have any hope of it getting better? No, that's not true. I know you care a little bit because you're generally just a sci-fi.
I would love another season of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan got pretty good,
Yeah, Obi-Wan.
but
was
it
good,
also started very slow,
as they all do.
and there was a bunch that we didn't need.
True. They do start slow.
It's like, what kind of filler can we use to cover up the fact that we don't really know what we're doing and we don't have enough material for 12 episodes or however many episodes they're making? And Obi-Wan was 8, right?
Well, they're all. I mean, I think they should first of all assess like a runtime goal. 10 episodes seems to be okay.
They don't care about minutia like this.
But they should, because then you've got a goal. Whereas this one is like, oh, this episode was 18 minutes. This episode is 42 minutes. This episode was 45 minutes, but had nothing to do with it except for the last 30 seconds. Like, they need to
But listen,
lock it up.
I also, and I have enjoyed Picard far more than I have any of the Star Wars that has come out, generally speaking, right? However, we just used 11 episodes to set up what I'm pretty sure is going to be a single episodic version of The Next Generation.
Because it has to be.
Yeah.
It really has to be. Unless it's 2 hours long and it's a movie. Like it's the fifth movie we just didn't know was coming. It has to be a singular
But I mean, it
done.
could almost just stand alone all by itself. I bet.
It probably will. I'm very excited for it.
Are you talking about the last episode of Picard?
Yes, that's also ending this week.
No, Picard is much better than The Mandalorian this year.
It'll be. I came into Picard late, but I was watching it with Casey. We had to stop it at one point because I was going, Casey, what is gonna, Casey?
Yeah,
what do you think?
He's like, what's going on? Like, where are they going?
And
at first I was like, I pause it and I go, I don't know. I'm like, this is the first time I'm watching it. This episode just got released.
Will, be
I'm not
quiet.
rewatching it, Will. I have no idea where they're going. I'm like, I can tell you what I think's going to happen.
Yeah.
In my 30 plus years of Star Trek knowledge, I can take a guess.
And that's what I was banking on.
I was like, I can tell you the timeline up until this point makes no fucking sense because, it just doesn't. Because at some point somebody forgot about season 2 of Picard and was like, no, just skip over that. As a matter of fact, they forgot the first 2 seasons of Picard.
I mean,
Went back to First Contact and was like, man, this is where we were at our prime. Let's just start from here and not go anywhere else.
are you saying that we just didn't in any way need Star Trek 4 again?
Oh, no, Star Trek 4 could happen every time.
Yeah.
I watch Star Trek 4 over and over again. I love Star Trek 4.
I
love
get that.
Star
I get
Trek.
that.
I love Star Trek in general, but Star Trek 4 is the one with the whales.
That thing with the whales.
It's canonically known as the thing with the whales now. The greatest gift Picard season 3 gave us was identifying that everyone just refers to it as, oh yeah, the thing with the whales.
That's funny.
It was a little bit outside the boundaries of Star Trek.
What, saving the whales?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
It being on, it's probably as close as Star Trek has ever gotten to crossing the fourth wall. Creating a movie in San Francisco in the 80s.
yeah. I mean,
That was classic.
it really is. You're like, wow.
That was classic. I have to admit.
Oh, where are we at, Casey? How long have we been talking to
What
these
else we
people?
got going here?
We are coming up on 1 hour and 37 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody have any information on the Knights and how they're doing?
Casey told me earlier
it's
they were a favorite to
playoff.
win
They
the
are.
Stanley Cup.
They clinched the Pacific.
They clinched the conference, I saw.
Yes.
So,
That's right.
but I tell you, there are, the Oilers.
Boo.
Is that the, yeah, and I think Calgary. Oh, no, Bruins.
Don't name Canadian teams. But you live in California. Don't you bring that blasphemy down here.
But, quiet.
All we have to do is beat Winnipeg, okay?
Well-
The Knights are playing the Jets.
Well, I tell you what, the Bruins and their record for the season was extremely impressive. They had like an 800 percentage win. 80% of what they played, essentially, they won. And I'm like going, holy smokes.
Yeah, they wasted all that effort.
Yeah,
In hockey, we could actually get the Jets and the Sharks.
It's true.
Yeah.
But what about
No,
Marie-
sharks aren't. The sharks aren't in the.
No, generally, not this year.
Oh, yeah, generally, no.
speaking,
Generally
we
speaking.
could actually get the Jets and the Sharks.
True. True. Except for Winnipeg sucks.
Yeah.
I said it. Yeah.
Aren't they playing the Knights?
Yeah, exactly.
Did they play yet? Have they played game one yet?
Nah, game 1 is tomorrow.
I never saw
Oh
who
yeah,
won
it's
over
Tuesday.
Minnesota won, and Edmonton won.
Yeah, one. Yeah.
here. So does that mean both of you are going to text Randy? Can you just text him a meme of the coach kicking a trash can?
That's the only thing I need to text.
Would he get it? Has he ever seen Letterkenny?
I don't think he has, but I don't care. I'll just send the
Yeah.
coach kicking the trash can from Letterkenny all the time.
Fucking embarrassing.
I hope to send it to Sean after the Knights beat the Jets.
What about Neil? When you get to send him something?
We're shit talking right now because our bracket's up.
Isn't his team one of the favorites though?
Well, the Devils, yeah.
Yeah, like his actual team.
Yeah,
like the one
legit-
that he has. Like
I'm curious to see his bracket because we have to wait till they're locked in so we can see other people's. I'm curious to see if he picked him on his bracket because I
All
don't
the
think
way
he did. I did. I'm like, I think they can make it.
But the Knights are actually favored to win the Stanley Cup.
Well, if they keep their record going,
Okay.
they could get there.
second place. Best they're gonna do.
I mean, I believe that. That's all they've ever gotten.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Oh. Yeah.
Opening year, they played their asses off, got all the way there, lost.
Yep. I know.
And then what was it, last year or the year before, got all the way, lost.
No, they don't think they've been all the way more than once.
No, twice.
Twice?
It was twice, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
I know they've been in the playoffs every.
Every year they make
Every
the playoffs.
year, yeah.
So far, they have a pretty good playoff record.
So what you're saying is they're hockey's version of the Buffalo Bills.
Yes. Well, wait, no, that might be the Kraken now.
No, because the Kraken are terrible.
But they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the Buffalo Bills lost the Super Bowl 4 times.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, we're definitely closer to the Buffalo
Wait
Bills
a
for
minute.
sure.
Are the Kraken in the same conference as the Knights?
Yes, they exist in the Pacific.
Okay. Would they come in third or something like that?
Fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah.
And they're going to the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs.
Really?
Yep.
Wild
They're,
card?
they're playing Colorado.
Is it a wild card?
No, they're playing Colorado,
Oh, okay.
which is unfortunate. Colorado's really good. They won last year.
That's right.
All right. I think we're tailing off.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Are you toasted? You're toasted?
Yeah.
The torch has been lit.
The torch.
The torch is now burning out.
Yep, let's call it.
All right.
And there we are.
And we'll see everybody next time.
Absolutely.